I'm gonna wait till it's officially 1 o'clock. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our very first monthly new feature webinar. We are super excited to show you some of the new and exciting features that we've released this month, as well as share with you some big news on how to make it easier to share your ideas and collaborate with each other. As most of you know, my name is Tim, and I'm the founder of Court Reserve, and I'll be the one presenting today. Joining me as a panelist today is my CTO, Nick Jenga. Nick leads our development team and also jumps in to solve many of your day-to-day issues in our live support channel. He will stay mostly quiet in today's webinar, but may jump in at any time if I forget something or I need his help to answer any of your questions. So a little housekeeping before we get started. Since this is in a webinar format, all participants will be in listening only mode for the duration of the webinar. However, we do encourage you to ask your questions in the Q&A section of your Zoom toolbar, and you may need to hover at the bottom of the window to see the Q&A section. And we will try to get through as many of these questions at the end that we can. If we don't get to your question live on the webinar, we will send an email with your answer. We will also be recording this webinar and publishing this out on our website for download within the next 24 hours. So with that, let's get started. So for a quick agenda and how this will work today, first I'm going to talk about our major releases this month, along with a brief and short demonstration of each feature. I will quickly then highlight some of our other updates we've released, and what we call our minor features. Next, I'll talk about how you can be informed of these new releases and where you can go to read our release notes. Then I'm going to share with you something brand new that we actually released today that I'm excited about, to give you a way to communicate your ideas and feature requests better to us, and along those lines, a way to communicate better with each other. I'm also going to be highlighting some of our upcoming features that you can expect to see very soon, and finally leaving some room for some questions and answers. So with that being said, the first thing that I want to show off is our new custom schedulers feature. And before I jump into a demonstration of this, I want to sort of first list out some of the reasons that we built this feature and why some of our customers was requesting it. So before we did this, Court Reserve was really limited to only showing one set of start times. So for example, let's say you wanted to show your admin scheduler to all your admins starting at 7 a.m. for maybe some prior meetings or anything before your actual courts opened up, but maybe 9 a.m. to your actual members, you could not do this. Number two, it was really, if you had different court types or wanted to show different sets of courts at different time slots, you couldn't do this either. For example, let's say you wanted to book maybe a cabana in a 3-hour slot, but have some tennis courts in 90-minute slots. You could not do this before custom schedulers. And finally, we really wanted to reduce the amount of courts on the screen that some of our customers had to scroll through. We have some customers that have well over 30 courts, and the expanded view for these clients got very hard to manage. So we wanted a way to break and segment out these courts to make it easier to view. So let's jump into a quick demo and see how this works. So let me jump over here to Court Reserve. And so to set up custom schedulers, you want to, this can be found in the general settings under custom schedulers. And so to save time, I went ahead and created 2 of these. And the first one is an indoor court scheduler. So if I had a number of hard courts, a number of clay courts, a number of indoor courts, and maybe a cabana. And I just wanted a way to allow users to see a scheduler with just the indoor courts, or even just my admins to see that. So I would create a scheduler called indoor court. So if I've already went ahead and created this, but if you were doing this for the first time, you would see the same thing here. So the first thing I wanted to point your attention to is the ability to see and name the scheduler to whatever you want to name it from the admin side, but then you also have full control over how the members see it in the member portal and on the member app. So I just called it Book Indoor Courts. The other thing here is that you can actually limit certain reservation types and certain court types, and even down to the court level. So if you just want to create a custom scheduler for a few courts or for a particular court type, you can do that here. And as you can see in this demonstration, I've done, hey, you're allowed to book just general court time, and this is only for the indoor courts. A couple other options here is the ability to set these up as private. So if you have an administrator, if you want to do this and not expose it to anybody but yourself, you could mark this private. You could also choose to show or not show these on the member portal side. As you can see in this one, I've actually checked the box to show it on the member side. I've also checked it to show it on the admin side. I'll show you what both of these look like in just a second. But we also added an option to actually show the times on the reserve buttons, and I'll show you that. This really should say at the member portal level, because this feature only exists for the member side. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second as well. And then, of course, this is how you change the interval. So for indoor courts, if you have a different interval and you want to show those in 15 minutes instead of 30 minutes, you can set the interval here. And then you can also set, so for this particular scheduler, I only want the courts, my indoor courts, to be scheduled or bookable from 12 a.m. to 9 p.m. on the weekdays and 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on the weekends. Okay, so let's take a look and see what this looks like. First, on the admin side, if you notice under the reserve courts option, here is the way that usually, back up, this is the way that we currently have all of our views. But now if you create a scheduler or custom schedulers, one or many, you will now see a new schedulers option here. And if you click the schedulers options, this is where all of your new custom schedulers will pop in if they are private to you or if they are marked as admin. Now, if you just put something on the member side and not choose admin or private, you will not see it here. So if I choose the indoor courts now, you will notice that now I only see my 2 indoor courts and not all of the different courts that I previously seen on the expanded view. And you'll also notice that now I can see a 12 o'clock start time up until 9 o'clock for Friday or for the weekdays. And if I jump to Saturday, it goes back to 9. So now I'm completely limited or completely customizable to that, all those particular settings that I had set up, okay? So now what I want to do is I want to jump over here to the member side and show you this. So now if you notice there's a new reservations, and it basically uses the names that you have set up. So if you notice, I have book indoor courts, which is what I called it. And if I click the indoor courts option, now I see the 2 indoor courts only. And I also see the time slots on the actual time slots themselves because I chose that option. Okay, so this is an easy way for you to do custom schedulers and have configurability across all your different courts and court types. And so if you notice, I also set one up for the cabana. So now I can say I want to book the cabana, and now the cabana is set up for 3-hour slots, and it's just the cabana reservation type. So if I click reserve, or let me go back over to the reservations here and book indoor courts because I actually set this one up. You can see now that it's only picking in my reservation type that I selected. The other 3 reservation types are not listed. So this is a great way for you to limit your actual reservation types for a particular group of courts as well. So If you have any trouble or if you are interested in more, we have an article I'll share with you. But if you need our help setting these up, feel free to reach out through our normal support chat channels. Okay. So let me jump back over here. Major feature number 2 is member check-ins. So we heard from multiple clients that they really want to be able to denote a member actually walking into the door and actually showing up for their reservation in our event. And so I want to show you how that works. But before I do, let me jump over here. I want to highlight real quickly something we did to actually as a predecessor to this. If you notice, or if you remember, we used to have a reservation list, but we changed that now and called it reservations. And what we've done with this is we really wanted to break it down and make it easier for you to get to the information that you needed. So as you can see, we've broken this into tabs. Okay, and so the first tab is called All Reservations. And we did a couple things here. One is we actually included now the member name for any single reservation. As you can see, CD is here on the ball machine. H. Atwood is here for this open court time. So we really wanted to make it where you could see the member name without having to expand. Okay. We also included a little calendar icon, and what that does is that denotes that this reservation, since we're in a combined list, this reservation is an event. So it's a really easy way to denote which ones are events and which ones are reservations. And then we also wanted to give you the ability so you didn't have to, if you were using this and you wanted to quickly sign up somebody, you now have the sign up button for any of these reservations that are actual events. So if if you don't see the sign up button, that means they're just a single reservation for a member. Okay. And what we've done here is now you can break this down, and now you have court reservations. So this is just your single court reservations. You have just your events, and now you also have all your resources or your ball machine rentals. So now you can actually default these two at the user level. So if you go into your profile, you can actually pick and choose which one of these you prefer to land on when you come here. So we give you a little bit of customization there. They're also sortable. You can still filter using the search box here. And you can also export any of these to Excel or PDF using the export buttons. Okay? And so I say that to really show you now the check-in feature. So now under all reservations, if you see the black arrow, you guys all know that that's used to expand that event to see the member and or members that are part of that event. And so now you notice in the far right over here, we have a check-in button. And to check in the member, it's really easy. You simply check it. It's going to ask you and give you some confirmation details. Are you sure you want to check in? It's going to show you the member name, what you're checking them into, and the time you're checking them in. You just simply click yes. And now you can see that they've checked in. If you hover over that check-in feature, you can see the date they were checked in and the actual person that checked them in, either an organizer or an admin that you've given privileges to. We're going to be enhancing this over the next couple months to actually give you check-in reports and some additional things. We do show on the event registration list, we will show the checked-in status. I'm not going to demo that today, but if those of you that are printing out that PDF, the checked-in status will be set if you are using check-ins. So it's a really simple. You can also get to check-ins at the member level. So if you go to a member and then click their events, you can also do it from the member side as well. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope that gives those clients that were looking for check-in functionality. If you have any concerns or questions on that, again, feel free to let us know. All right, if I want to hop back over here now and go into feature number 3, which is our quick searches. And I'm sure that all of you have seen these already, but this feature was all about convenience. We really wanted to actually show, this was actually something that I saw that I shared with the development team after doing a couple client visits, and I just saw how painful it was to actually quickly find a member or event at the front desk. So let me quickly show you this. If you haven't seen it yet, Now what you see at the top of the screen are two new search boxes, one for family or member name and one for event. So at any point, these are across all of our pages. So real quickly, I can just put somebody's first name and last name in there and click on it, and it goes right to that member's records and right to their reservations. And then, of course, you could still click through to get to other information about that member. And if you want, the same thing works for events. So if I'm looking for a particular event, I can search on it. I can see the date, the time. I could click on it. We did a new event details page. So now you can go right to the occurrences, and it is even smart enough from the search to land you on the appropriate occurrence that you've chosen with it expanded, so you go right to your member names or your registrants list. So if somebody walks in the door and they say, hey, I'm here for the men's night, you can simply click men's night. It will simply open up the registrants. Dakota walked in, you can simply check him in, yep, and you're done. So we wanted to sort of combination of all of those features together that really made this a lot more efficient for you to search members, search events, and to get them checked in. Okay, so let me jump back over here, moving right along. And again, I just wanted to stop and pause. We will be entertaining some of the questions at the end, so feel free to continue to put those in there, and I will check them. I know that I'm covering this pretty quickly, but I wanted to make sure I get through it to reserve enough time to get to your questions at the end. Okay, so some additional features that we were able to get in this month, that I'll show you a couple of these because it's easier if you see them. One of them is changes to the resources view. I know that this was a big one for a lot of you folks. Before, on the resources view, there was really no way to differentiate when a ball machine was actually being used and when it was not being used because of court unavailability. So now what we've done is, you can see here, if you have a ball machine normally reserved, you usually can only plug it in at certain courts. If the courts are unavailable due to an event or somebody's on them, they are grayed out with resource unavailable. And now you can differentiate your court unavailability with your actual ball machine rentals. So as you can see here, the courts are booked up till 5, and then I actually have a ball machine rental at 5 o'clock for D. So now you have a clear depiction of ball machines when they're being used. So a really good way to make that a lot better in terms of visibility. We also added your organization logo on all outgoing emails. So now, instead of being branded with Court Reserve, we now show your logo if you have it updated and uploaded into the platform. We also added a new organizer permission for those that were looking to give people, non-admins, permissions to manage members. That may be adding a member, updating a member's membership, etc. So you can just go into your organizer permissions now and choose the permission to manage members, and they will have that ability to do that. We also added the ability to embed a reservation list. I do want to quickly show you this one. Let me back up here, because this one I think is pretty neat. So if you go now, I don't know, if you guys are not using embed codes on your websites, you're really missing out on a big feature with Court Reserve. I know some of you guys are doing it and loving it, and ask for this one. And this is really a way to show your current reservations for a period of time. So if you look here, I created a sample for this for today's reservations, and you can see it's totally customizable. You can really put anything you want here as far as the way you want to display it on your website, your colors, your text, what you want it to say, how far out you want it to go get reservations. I could say for today, for the next 5 days, do I want it to show these particular member names? All these options are available. Once you create this and save it, you can then take this bit of code, put it into your own personal website, and then you will render a block of HTML that looks like this. And so now you can see I'm actually showing who is on the court and what are they doing on the court. So I have a summer camp on these courts. I have somebody that's got the ball machine. Here's who it is. And then I got a men's night coming up at 6:30. So that's just another option that you have if you want to show reservations on your own website. So that was a really cool feature that we put in this month. We also changed the reservations on the members to show tabs. So real quickly what that is, if I go in here and I search for a member now, before when we showed the member reservations, it was all one big list. And so we tabbed this out. And so now you can see, and we default it to be their upcoming, and that way we don't show their past and they don't show their canceled. But you can still get to that information by clicking the tabs, okay? And then last but not least, we have the check boxes on the events are sticky. And sorry for, I keep bouncing back and forth, but I want to show these to you so you know how to use these features. It's all about education here. So these boxes up here were actually, you check them, and then as soon as you left the page or refreshed, then you would have to recheck them. And I know that that was not optimal user experience. So what I've done here was I've actually changed these, or the development has changed these. So now if you check these and refresh, it actually will make those sticky, and they will stick up to about, that we save it for a 30-minute session. So as long as you're in there working, they will stay. But if you leave it, walk away for 30 minutes and come back, then you would have to recheck them, okay? So now that's not everything. What I'm getting ready to show you, we do have a way, we're not listing, those are just some of the main ones. What we've done and what I want to show you now is really a way for you to be able to see all of our new features. And so what we've done is if I jump back over here to Court Reserve, we now have this bullhorn. Okay, and this bullhorn is really good for you to be able to quickly see what all has come or what all has been released in Court Reserve. And I didn't do this, I wish I would have, but if it actually turns red, there's a red dot that is over it if we've released something new that you've not read. So if you see the red dot over the bullhorn, it's a quick indicator to say, oh man, Court Reserve's released some new features, let me go check those out. So if you click on it, it will take you right to all of our release notes where you can quickly see the features we've added, an article on how to use it. We also highlight any updates we've done to the system. We let you know which members of our team were involved in making the changes, and we even highlight any bug fixes that we've done. So this is a great way for you guys to actually see what's being done in Court Reserve, because I know we change a lot. That's a good thing, right? But we need to keep you guys aware of that. And so this is how an easy way now that you can actually see what's being released. And what I will do every month going forward is use this to sort of guide these webinars. Okay. Let me jump back over here, and I'm super excited about this one. This is our new idea board. And so just let me jump over here. Show you what I mean. So today, if you haven't noticed already, at the top right, there's a brand new icon with a light bulb. And this will direct you directly to the new Court Reserve idea board. And this is where you will see all of our current ideas. You'll see feature requests submitted by you, the clients. Now, what we've done is we've started this with some of the major ones that we've heard and we've seen already by you. But what we want to do is offer you this tool to add new ones and vote on the ones that you like. You get up to 3, you can vote up to 3 times per request. So if you really like one, you could give it 3 votes. If you say, yeah, that's okay, you can give it 1 vote, or you don't have to vote on it at all. But we will use this board to actually drive our product roadmap throughout the year and give you a way to check statuses and leave comments on a particular feature. And then what we'll do is we'll rank these ideas based on your votes and then work through those in that order. So it's super important that you guys really get involved with this, and you partake and you submit and you vote. Please don't be shy. Any idea is good. If you have an idea, post it. And as an added bonus, we've also added a client chatter forum, and this is for you guys to talk to each other. So if you guys have a question that you want to ask another client, or if you want to know something about best practices and you just want to see how other people are doing something, then simply leave a conversation. This is like a normal forum. The great thing about this is client specific. Nobody from the public can get into this area. This is only available to our clients. So don't think like if you post something, it's going to go out there to the web, because it's not. Only other clients can actually respond to any conversations you put in there. So we hope this is, we hope you're going to enjoy this. This is really giving making your voice even more powerful than it already is, especially as it relates to our product and the evolution of Court Reserve. So please partake into this. And if you have any questions on getting signed up or anything like that, please don't hesitate to let us know. So we hope you enjoy that. And finally here, before we get into some question and answers, let's talk about 2 major projects that we're currently working on that we want to tell you about. The first one is our card present transactions. And this is really the ability for our for our clients that are using integrated payments to accept credit cards at their front desk. And so this is a great way to allow your walk-ins to pay with credit cards, and we'll also be providing you a way to buy or lease the credit card machine that can accept all the credit cards out there, including a chip reader for extra security, as well as being able to use people to be able to use Apple Pay. And this is an integrated solution. So there'll be a way for you to charge in Court Reserve and then tell the user to pay. They can swipe, and then everything is taken care of in Court Reserve. So if you guys are not using integrated payments and this is attractive and you want to look into that, please let us know. Reach out to us and we can get you started with that. The other one that we are really working on, and I know a lot of you have been asking for this, is the ability to restrict registrations to certain events by either age, gender, or rating. And this really gives users more control over who can actually get in and register for those events without you having to do it manually. So for example, if you are running a men's night on Mondays nights and a female player, they still may need to see that on your calendar so they can tell their husband or their son, but they may not necessarily need to sign up themselves. So the system needs to prevent that because it's a men's night. And on the flip side, if you want to filter out based on your rating, so if you're running a 3.0 or 3.5 event and you don't want any of your 4.0 or 4.5s to be able to register, you'll be able to do that as well. So we really like these 2 features, and we think that we'll get both of these rolled out this month. But again, as far as the rest of the roadmap, we really want you to go and help us out with what I just showed you in the previous slide with that idea board, because that's really what's going to help drive our future projects and enhancements going forward. Okay. So with that, it's time for some Q&A. And so if I jump over here, wow, I can't believe we only got 1 question. Really? So people, please don't be shy. If you guys have any questions, I'm here. We've only been at this for 26 minutes. I've reserved an hour, so be glad to answer your questions. But one client asked, is it possible to check in people from an iPhone? This is a very popular question, a very popular ask. And that is part of something that is on our future roadmap. We are actually scoping out and are going to be developing an app. It's really an add-on to our existing apps, but it's really for the admins and teaching pros or / organizers at your facility. So what we're going to be able to do, and they're going to be able to perform functions such as taking attendance, which is and answering this question, being able to take attendance, being able to switch a court, be able to sign up somebody for a private lesson, everything that you can sort of do from an admin side in the web app. We want to make it easy to use on the mobile as well. We know that your members are in love with the member app. We've made it easy for them. Now it's time to make it easy for you. So that is an important thing on our roadmap. You'll see it on our idea board. Please vote on it. We do plan on getting started on that sometime this year. As far as a release date, I don't have a concrete timeline, but it is something we're looking to do. So Susan asked, I would like to be able to do customizable reports, especially to sort using the rating field. I will have to talk with development. I thought that was, I thought we could already do that. If you go into, let me jump into Court Reserve. If you go over to our reports and our reservation reports, you should be able to, all your custom fields will be there in the custom report. I would have to talk to development. That's a great question. I thought we had our ratings here. but it looks like we do not. So what I think the question is can we get our custom ratings on the reservation report so that we can sort those? And we will definitely look at doing that. And that's another one that would be great to go ahead and post over on the idea board so other people could vote and comment on that. Okay. So let me see if we got any more here. Oh, yeah. So the team just mentioned, I don't know how many of you guys know, some of you have already taken advantage of this, but Court Reserve does have a referral fee. And what we do is we actually will give you $50 credit for anybody that you refer. Some people have already taken advantage and gotten this bonus. Anybody that you refer that actually signs up for any plan on Court Reserve will get a $50 credit to their account. So, we really are trying to, we're still small, but we're growing very fast. But if you guys like us, if you love us, please tell people about us. And then as long as they tell us they were referred to by one of you guys, we will absolutely. And that's unlimited. So if you get 2 people, you get $100. If you get 3, you get $150. So it's a great perk. And just what the team wanted me to mention that to you guys to take advantage of. Okay, a couple more questions coming in. So Glenda asks, we would love to have the rating level in the download grid from the members page. Another good one. So it looks like here they're asking for the members member rating in this particular grid. I think you can, if we used to be able to do that in user-defined fields, but I think with the custom rating, we actually took that functionality away. So Glenda, we will absolutely look at getting that back for you, because I've been asked a lot this week, how do we export? And while you guys are all on here, if you need to export your member list, it's under member actions, under export to Excel. So please use that member actions, export to Excel, to actually export your member list to Excel. I know that's a little hidden, so I wanted to, at least while I was here, point that out. What about the names on the mobile app? The name Bob asked, what about, oh, okay. So Bob is asking, can we show the names of the people reserving the courts on the mobile app? That is coming. Nick, if you can respond through chat, I think we're scheduled to release that as early as next week. Is that right? I know it may be it's the first 2 weeks of September, I do believe. But Bob, that's made it through development. I think we're doing some QA, but we're also going to be including the event names and the member names on the reservations, so people are not confused when they look on the mobile app and say, hey, which court am I on? So I know that's been, not only have you asked that, but other clients have asked that as well, so that is coming. And yes, Nick just confirmed we are going to release early next week that feature. So thanks for bringing that up, Bob, and I hope that gets you guys excited. So Pete said, is there a way to change the font size? Bold, italic, etc. So right now, we try. It's no. The short answer is no, not at this time. I do see it's not a hard thing for us to put a user setting in to allow you to customize how big or small you want the font. Some people may see this. It all depends on monitor size. Some people may see this as too small and need it bigger, but we show so much information. We've tried to nail down the ideal font to actually use so we could show the most information without it wrapping. So that's something, though, Pete, that we can definitely look in for you, okay? Okay, so Warner asked, we are set up to allow members to reserve a court for 2 hours daily. Some players ask for 3 hours a day. Could we restrict them to 5 days at 3 hours for a total of 15? Okay, that one's pretty complex. Warner, I would let us take that with you offline. I would gladly set up a call because that's a pretty unique scenario. And I can definitely work through that with you, but I would rather do that offline. So I will give you a call sometime next week and we can talk through that, okay? Glenda asked another one. Is there a certain day or time when you update your new releases? Does that affect any users in the system when you send out the update release? That is a great question. So the way we normally work it, we normally do all of our releases. We've been doing them on Fridays, but when we have a small enhancement or something that is very low risk, or we need to push out a hotfix, which we don't have often, then we will do that early in the morning because most of our users right now are in the United States. So what we try to do is push out releases between the 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Eastern time frame, so that we have no impact and no downtime. And so if you see something that looks strange, or you start seeing something that isn't quite working the way it usually works, the best thing and best advice I can give you is now you can look up the release notes to see if something went in that day. And see, because what we're going to do is every day we release something, we're going to update this so you can actually see the date. So that way you will have a correlation to say, oh, this release they released on the 30th could be causing this. I might need to let the team know over at Court Reserve. So that's the best advice I could give you is just look at these release notes, because we do hold our main releases to Fridays though. So hope that answers your question, Glenda. So Carol, tricky one. We have 2 hard courts, each have 2 pickleball courts on them. Is there a way for someone who books a hard court for pickleball, then the other pickleball court becomes open? I can tell you right now, the answer to that is no right now. That's a good feature though, especially since pickleball is becoming so popular. We've gotten tons of pickleball clients lately. So I could see the hybrid courts being a problem for some. So that's another one that I would love for you to submit so that we can get votes on, and that I can call and talk to you more about what we could do in that area. Good question, Carol. Susan, could we customize the fields we see on the member list page? We do not need to see some of these fields. So yes, I think what you're asking is if you go into the general settings area in the user defined fields, when you create a new member category or user field, you can determine if it's displayed on the grid or not. So if you want to actually ask for phone number, I'm just giving a wild example here, you can actually enable this field but choose not to show it on the grid. So you would just uncheck this. So if you got something showing up on that grid and you don't want it to, then and it's a custom field, you just need to go into your custom field and uncheck that box and it will go away. Okay? So Kevin says, I'm at the build out stage right now. Ability to copy a court property, example type, open, close hours, both to a new court, as well as copy the times down through the days when first defining a court. So I think your question, Kevin, is a copy court function. And the reason that doesn't exist right now is because really courts are one of those setup things where you're not building a new court every day. So we just decided not to go through the level of effort to do a copy court function when you really just need to do that one time and sort of set it and forget it mentality. But I will look at that a little bit more closely and maybe give you a ring as well to see if I'm missing something there and figure out what you need in order to make that more efficient for you. Okay. So do we have any more here? Okay. So Bob asked, it looks apparent that there will need to be a choice of club or USPA ratings. No, for custom ratings, Bob, you choose completely. It's completely custom. So you're not forced into anything. If you're seeing something there, that's because you have old ratings and you need to blow those away. So I could actually, as you can see here, I have pickleball rating, but I could actually delete pickleball rating, and I could start out by creating a new category. So I could call it, NRTP rating, and hit save changes. And then I can add any ratings I want to this. So I could say 3.0, 3.5, etc. So if you're seeing something called USAPA or choice or club, then you probably have some setup wrong. So what we'll do is we'll have somebody on our support team reach out and talk through that with you in order to get those set up correctly. Okay. So Pete, is there a way to have the monthly calendar to fit entirely on the screen? That's probably something custom to your browser size. So I'll probably just need to see a screenshot, and then we can get that to development to see if there's anything we can do around that issue. But good question, Pete. We'll definitely look into that for you. Bob asked, can I report off the ratings? Yes, again, that's been asked already. Great question. It looks like we need to put the custom rating functionality into first we need to put it in the members grid, and then we may can even do some custom reporting or add that to our custom report builder. So we'll be looking into that very soon, Bob. So I think, does anybody have any more? I think I've gotten through most of these. Yep. I will leave the floor open for another 30 seconds to see if we get any more to come in. So, all right, it looks like we're done. Awesome. So thank you guys for your for attending today. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for the great questions. I hope this was informative. I hope this was educational. It's real important with a software product that's changing as fast as Court Reserve to be educated and to know so it doesn't feel overwhelming. So it's a good habit to get into attending these. I'll be doing these on the last day of every month to go over all the new features and to answer questions just like today so that nobody gets left behind. So again, thank you, and please go out to the new idea board and start submitting any ideas and voting on the ones you like, because that's really going to make a difference when we start developing those features. Okay. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great weekend, and until next time, we'll see you later.